What I observed is that for the divine feminine, that we need to give ourselves permission to cry. Yesterday, I gave myself permission to cry. I gave myself permission to release my tears. And it was so interesting because I've been telling, people for years on and off that I tend to analyze and experience first before I shed tears. But I also realized that I had gotten into the habit of suppressing my emotions because for years I was told that they were too much, or you're being so dramatic, you're so sensitive. But do you know that's a woman's superpower? Is her sensitivity. A woman's superpower is her emotions. And when you live in a world where the patriarchy says, and I'm not talking about men, to be clear, we are talking about a patriarchal system that men are also subjected to, which is why they don't feel safe with their own emotions. And they criticize women for the very things that they suppress within themselves. So the world tells you, divine feminine woman, that your tears are too much. But the way the world is set up, we actually need to cry. Our men need to cry. Our women need to cry. And one thing about me is years ago, I kept going through these same situations over and over again that they were just exhausting, emotionally exhausting, mentally exhausting. And so I convinced myself that I didn't care. I convinced myself to play tough. And in playing tough, I stopped crying. I stopped crying. But then what would happen is months would go by, maybe even years would go by. And then one day I'm having a conversation and all of it just comes out, and it comes out like a storm. It comes out like a storm. And one thing I love about the divine feminine is, the dark feminine. That's one of my favorite subjects that I'm discovering about myself is like, we don't honor that enough. We don't honor Kali energy enough, Sekhmet energy enough. And so when you learn to honor those energies as well, you know that they are necessary to get shit done and knock some shit over. Knock ego over. To check and set boundaries when people have overstepped them once or twice. Because let's not do it too many times. Let's not overstep boundaries too many times. So when you learn to honor self, like I did even more yesterday, you release what no longer serves you. And this protects your womb from getting harder, your heart from getting harder. It gives you the space to breathe and to expand. But if you hold in those tears, if you hold in the things that don't serve you, convincing yourself that you're tough, you're hard. Women are not supposed to be hard. Women are not always supposed to be soft either. And what I mean by that is, yes, our softness, our gentleness, our nurturing energy is very inspiring, right? It can be a muse for ourselves, let's leave it there, for ourselves. But nurturing also shows up as mama bear energy. And as women, we have to learn that we can't just be mama bear for our children. We got to be mama bear for ourselves. We got to give ourselves that divine protection. What we say is what it is. And what I mean by that is, if I set a boundary and I say this is what it is, honor that so you don't have to meet the dark feminine aspect of myself. See, society has taught us for too long that we're supposed to be good girls and sweetness. Have you studied Oshun? She's sweet, but she will knock some shit over. Don't get it twisted. See, Mama Nature, oh, the green, the love, the gentleness, the sweetness, right? Honeybees, they sweet. Just don't overstep. If you attack their nest, you will be met with terror. You will be met with pure hell. Okay? If you attack their queen, and when I say queen, I'm talking about that inner part of self, queen, goddess. If you are attacked, you need to be willing to release the bees. And once the bees have attacked, they go right on about their business. They go back to producing honey. They go back to serving the queen. You see what I'm speaking on? I'm speaking on balance. So I said that to say that for too long, our mothers and our grandmothers, us, we suppressed our true feelings. But see, if you see the reading that I did, I'll post a link for it. But see, if you honor what you feel, right? Let the tears flow and then alchemize it. Alchemize it. Use those emotions to speak affirmations, speak life over yourself and what you are overcoming in this moment, right? Someone betrayed you, someone hurt you. As you shed those tears, while you're processing what you feel, affirm, never again will I betray myself. Never again will I let someone betray me. And allow the fuel, the fire behind those emotions to shift your environment internally so that your external environment shows it. Oh, there's so many powers in your tears, sis. See, I don't care to be a masculine woman. I care to be a balanced woman. I care to use my masculine energy when it serves me and to sit back in my feminine and allow myself to flourish because my masculine energy was on point. So when you get done crying, right, being that emotional person that somebody else told you were too much of, now you get to come up with a solution. That's the masculine. Now you get to see, okay, what am I going to do about it? That's why I said alchemize it. See, use that fire. Use that fire energy to create and speak your solutions into existence. I have used I have used anger to speak affirmations. I have used joy to speak affirmations. I have danced and spoken affirmations over my life. See, you're magical. You're an alchemist. You receive a sperm into your womb. Your body, without you having to tell it to, releases an egg. And that sperm and that egg come together to create a life. And you don't have to think anything about how that child is being formed in the womb and what process is being done. And you don't have to think about it. It's happening. If that doesn't tell you the miracle of alchemy, I don't know what does. And as a divine mother that you are, for those that are mothers, and we are all mothers in some way, as a divine mother that you are, you know that at some point, 9 or 10 months, the child has to come into this world. It has to be revealed. During pregnancy, your job is to maintain balance. It is ideal for a woman to manage her stress levels, pregnant, right? Because that child feels all that you feel. Same thing. Even when a child is not present, the womb feels everything that you feel. And if you don't let it out, it'll create something. Indeed, it'll create the fibroids, the cysts, the hormonal imbalances. All those will be created. The shadows, right? Because when you don't allow yourself to feel, it's all held in your womb. And when it's held in the womb, it gets transferred. It gets transferred into everything. It gets transferred into new relationships. It gets so deeply transferred into new relationships that you could be in a totally different situation, but it looks the same to you because your womb is telling you that. Your womb is still holding memories from past trauma, past pain. And so when you go into a new relationship, certain things that happen in that relationship will say, oh, this is the same thing I went through before, because you didn't let go of those imprints. You did not release those past experiences. So those stories are playing over and over again. Give yourself permission to release. You can't convince other people all day that you are strong. You got this, you got it figured out, but your body has to pay for it at some point. And I don't know about you. I would rather be vulnerable in the moment, or when the time comes that I realize that I need to release these tears, than to years down the road discover I have some form of dis-ease, some form of inflammation from all these emotions that have been held in my body for decades. We're not just talking about ours, we're talking about ancestral. See, your tears are for your ancestors too. It's not just for you. Think about the women that were enslaved that didn't even have the time to cry. You have it. You have it. I don't care how many hours you work at work. Take your lunch break and cry. Go in the car and cry. Take your weekend to cry. Take your weekend to rest. See, we breaking cycles of survival mode. We are breaking cycles of repeating the same things over and over again. We are breaking cycles still to this day. Some of us are breaking the cycles of what our enslaved ancestors went through, if your ancestors were enslaved. Even for those indigenous people that were here and watched their land be taken from them. I just heard Trail of Tears. See, those conditions were much harsher then. You had to keep going. Your house will not fall if you take a few moments, even a day, to cry. Who are you performing for as a mother and as a wife? Because true love says, mama, get your rest. True love says, wifey, get your rest. True love says, sis, get your rest and let them tears out. Too many of us have been subjected to relationships where we were not allowed to have that space. We didn't have that safe space to get it out. Run. Because ain't no relationship worth dis-ease. You got to deal with that later. I hear these stories all the time about, when a woman is on her deathbed or when she's on her sick bed, her husband is not there to support her. When a man is on his sick bed, a woman is there to the end. And granted, I'm not one to generalize. That story might be switched around in certain situations. It might not be a thing at all. The point of it is, in our natural and our nurturing, as much as we are willing to nurture others, we have to be willing to nurture ourselves, or we won't even be around to nurture anybody else. You think your house will fall apart if you shed tears? Imagine how much it'll fall apart if you're not even there. You think no one can take better care of your children than you. So take better care of you so that you continue to take better care of your children. Give yourself permission to cry. Surrender to your superpower and your emotions. We all know storms. We all know hurricanes. If you don't allow the thunderstorm, it'll turn into a hurricane. And which one is more disastrous? Which one is harder to repair? I think you get the point. Peace.